Internet, hello and welcome to this week's Koi Cubed. It is a very hot July day. If the stream overheats as it has done the last couple times, I do apologize. We are here coming at you from Southern California in July, and it is a toasty one. Today, we're going to be talking about Deadpool officially entering the MCU in a very delightfully Deadpool way. We're going to talk about superhero movies running with some Emmy nominations. We're going to talk about lots of stuff, and then we're going to talk about some Schmodown stuff and some Curl stuff at the end. It's a big old Koi Cube day. I'm very excited you guys are here. My laptop is very hot in my waist area, and like to my lap, so the heat of it does make me concerned for the overheating. It is impossible with sound to have the AC on, so that is not really an option, but here we are. I did admittedly forget to share the link to this, so I'm going to be posting it real quick while we talk, and there it is. Okay, sorry about that, anyone watching this later. Here we are. I am so excited with the way we're having Deadpool debut. I'm so excited that this guy is officially in the MCU after many months of toil, of back, of forth, of contracts and signings, and then the strangest way to enter with marketing. Ryan Reynolds owns a marketing company, and it is changing marketing. It is as meta and self-aware as Deadpool. He's done really great stuff with Mint Mobile. He, in fact, enlisted the epic voice guy who does the Honest Trailer voices and known Screen Junkie fan as the voice in a new Mint Mobile ad. He is doing all sorts of stuff with Aviation Gin that's breaking barriers. He's won awards for his marketing. He is his own company. Maximum Effort is a separate entity and is doing a lot of really cool work. And I think it's a really great way to introduce Deadpool to the MCU through marketing, because you've got Ryan Reynolds, Taika Waititi as Deadpool and Korg watching a movie starring Ryan Reynolds, Taika Waititi, and they've worked together on another movie called Green Lantern. And in this watch along, both of these characters have, like, Korg's not a fourth wall breaking character, but he's aware of the world. He plays video games. Deadpool is, of course, completely fourth wall breaking. So we've got very perfectly suited characters for this. They would be the type to do a watch along, and it is in canon mentioned that it's Deadpool's first MCU appearance. So that is a damn near perfect way to introduce the character. It's also a great marketing tool, because I like the trailers for Free Guy. We've talked about the trailers for Free Guy. If they just released a new Free Guy trailer, it's very unlikely that I'd be having this conversation. I wouldn't be talking about yet another Free Guy trailer. But talking about a Free Guy trailer that introduces Deadpool, that also stars Korg with two of the actors in Free Guy, that's a genius bit of marketing. That is top tier marketing. You've got two of the actors in it. It's a great way to introduce it. It's a great way to have Deadpool fold into the MCU. Obviously, when he makes his debut in a movie or a show or whatever ends up happening, it's going to be a different thing. We've got all the multiverse stuff coming. It's going to be a fairly seamless transition. I'm sure however they end up doing it is going to be genius. But I love that this first appearance is really meta and self-aware. Free Guy was a Fox film and is now a Disney property, much like Deadpool. It works on so many layers. I'm very excited. The movie itself is from Sean Levy, who Real Steel and produces on Stranger Things. I'm very excited for this movie. Ryan Reynolds has been pimping it for quite some time. He seems legitimately in love with the film. It's out in August. I'm so thrilled. Deadpool is officially in the MCU, and it's the weirdest, most meta way possible. I don't want to give away any of the jokes in the trailer itself. There's a lot of really good one-liners. There's a lot of really good meta world building. Do watch the Deadpool and Korg watch-along. It's really something special, and I can honestly say there's not much else like it. It's a very unique piece of art, and I'm so happy it exists. And yeah, it just dropped out of nowhere on Tuesday. Here we are, the day before the finale of Loki. We get this bit of nerdy glory, and on the same day, we got hella nods for Emmys and superhero film. There's all sorts of goodness coming from the world of Emmys. We've got 24 Emmy nominations for The Mandalorian, a geeky Western Star Wars film. 24 nominations, tied for first with The Crown. That is so many nominations. That is absolutely insane. We've got 23 for WandaVision, one behind. WandaVision has 23 Emmy nominations. That is a staggering amount for a prestige drama. For a superhero show, that is unheard of. We're finally getting some respect, accolades, some love for the superhero genre in Emmy Award love. I hope this leads to more Oscars. Hope this leads to more Golden Globes. Every time one of these award seasons rolls around, we chip away at the bullshit, the stigma against superhero content. 23 nominations for WandaVision, 24 for The Mandalorian, 20 for Ted Lasso. Yes, it's not a superhero show, but I am overjoyed because Ted Lasso is a delight. I love that show so very much. 20 nominations for Ted Lasso and 5 for The Boys. The Boys is a brutal satire, very, not inaccessible, but very specific, and, it's not for everybody. The Boys is a lot. 5 Emmy nominations for The Boys. Derek Robertson, the homie, is now attached to something with Emmys. I mean, I'm just so happy. It's so cool to see all that. I didn't write down all the nominations because that's boring and you guys can read the nominations somewhere. These are some of the ones I want to win, some of the ones I'm most excited about. I haven't seen The Crown. I haven't seen Handmaid's Tale, so a lot of the nominations are for those two. They are the big prestige dramas that I don't watch often. There's so many shows. I still haven't watched Sweet Tooth yet. There's so many shows even within the comic book pantheon I haven't watched, but especially those two. So some of the things that jumped out for me that I'm very much hoping for are The Boys versus This Is Us for Best Drama. Two of my favorite shows. I'm obsessed with This Is Us. I'm obsessed with The Boys. I'm excited for them to duke it out. I can't believe they're in the same category. What a crazy thing. Ted Lasso versus Cobra Kai for comedy. I love me some Cobra Kai, but I'm going Ted Lasso. I'm stoked Cobra Kai got nominated, but Ted Lasso is genre redefining. I'm actually going to the Ted Lasso season 2 premiere on Friday. Very excited about it to meet and greet the cast and crew and to just kind of to be in the space. Very excited for Ted Lasso season 2. WandaVision is up for limited series. Sterling K. Brown is nominated again for Best Dramatic Actor in a leading role for This Is Us. Big Sterling K. Brown fan. Very excited. We've got Timothy Olyphant and Carl Weathers nominated for The Mandalorian. Olyphant is obviously Fantastic, and Carl Weathers is one of my heroes. So either one of those gentlemen winning for a Mandalorian, good God, I'm excited. These noms made me very happy as a nerd. And then the final two I'm invested in are Dave Chappelle for Saturday Night Live. I thought he had an incredible hosting, leading, guest appearance on SNL. Dave Chappelle transcends a lot of material, elevates a lot of material, I should say. And then Dan Levy. I did not know this man until recently. I am only on season 4 of Schitt's Creek. I've been watching it in these post-pandemic times. It's hard to watch a lot of TV, trying to get back out in the world. But I'm deeply in love with Schitt's Creek, largely because of Dan Levy, and he also got nominated for his appearance on SNL. So lots of good stuff. Again, a lot of the shows I don't watch, so I can't really speak to, but those are the ones that I'm pulling for. A weird nomination was for Don Cheadle for Falcon Winter Soldier. You may remember, if you think very hard, about a 30-second or 1-minute cameo from Don Cheadle. It was more of a cameo. He got nominated for Best Guest Appearance on a series, and yeah, he's great, but even he was confused, tweeting today, "Thanks, well-wishers. Sorry, haters. Agreed. I don't really get it either, but on we go." So even Don Cheadle's like, I guess I was in fact nominated. It is a fascinating nomination. It is something very special, and at the end of the day, I wouldn't mind if he won, but Carl Lumbly should have won. Carl Lumbly was insane in that show. Carl Lumbly broke your heart every time he was on screen. I would have loved to see the Carl Lumbly nod. But at the end of the day, Liz Olsen is the Scarlet Witch, and she's nominated. I want to repeat that. A character from some of the weirdest corners of mainstream comics, played by Liz Olsen, is nominated for an Emmy. Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch, Emmy nominated. Magic. And that's all the Emmy talk I'll have, but I'm really excited for Liz Olsen, and 24 Mandalorian, 23 WandaVision, 20 Ted Lasso, 5 The Boys. I mean, what a time to be a nerd. All right, let me check in on that live chat right quick. I have not had it up in front of me. We got Scott Welsh, Sahil, MK Songbird, Killshot, Remy's Art, all sorts of OGs in the chat. Sahil asking, what do you think are the odds we get a Deadpool cameo in Love and Thunder? I think it's possible. I think I might know what the original plan was, but can't reveal it. So I think it's possible, because I don't think the original plan is happening, but I know things. MK Songbird, anyone catch the comment that Hiddleston made about What If setting up a bunch of stuff in the MCU? Oh, MK Songbird, did I? It is in the rundown. We're going to get to that, I promise you. Scott Welsh, I was so happy when I saw the number of noms WandaVision got. Still hope Olsen gets it for leading actress. Same. MK Songbird, Tom Hiddleston hits Billboard chart for first time thanks to Loki song. Very full. How about that? That is amazing. That song with that beautiful Viking Irish flavor made me so happy. Tom Hiddleston, Billboard charts. That is some magic. Thank you for sharing that. I missed that. That is very, very, very cool. Sahil, yeah, that Tanchil nom was odd. Oh, thank you for the correction. Lumbly. I did have that incorrect. Thank you very much. I was not aware of that actor until Falcon Winter Soldier, so thank you, Lumbly. We've got Dan4900 talking about that Loki is the most important show of Phase 4 with what it sets up. I do think the multiverse is going to be bananas on tomorrow's episode. Remember, 10 a.m. tomorrow at 10 a.m. on my Instagram is me breaking down comic references, Easter eggs, all sorts of stuff as I do every week at Loki. And then at 4, I'm going to be going live with Rotten Tomatoes on Twitter Spaces, breaking down the whole series with Rotten Tomatoes. So tomorrow, if you want to check me out at 10 a.m. on my IGTV and at 4 o'clock on Rotten Tomatoes Twitter, that is where I'll be talking all sorts of Loki goodness. And then probably going to be taking a couple weeks off from the IG Lives. And then we've got What If coming up, but I could use a little breather to catch up on the rest of my life stuff. But tomorrow, Loki, you can find me twice over. Let's see. Loki tomorrow is so stoked. Same. WandaVision noms are very well deserved. Agreed. All right. I'll be. Stephen Dorff must be very upset with the embarrassment of an Emmy nomination. Man, that guy, Jason. What an aggressive thing to say. Stephen Dorff just coming out mad about superhero stuff, and he's done some really awful movies since Blade. So it's a shame. Blade's great. He's great in it, but his comments are sad. Sad.com. All right, let's see what else we got on the docket, including the conversation we were going to be talking about with, we will get to the What If conversation, but the biggest thing that broke today is, in speaking of WandaVision, Matt Shakman, the showrunner of WandaVision, is going to be directing a movie of Star Trek due out in 2023. That is very soon. 2023 is a year and a half away. I guess if it's the end of the year, it'd be 2 years away. But still, 2023 is not far off. I've heard no rumblings of new Star Trek goodness. I know Tarantino has tried to run with some Star Trek. I know Noah Hawley has tried to make some Star Trek happen. I know JJ had a plan for a 4th. I know they were talking some time travel stuff with not Tom Hiddleston. I got Hiddleston in the brain. I'm talking about Mr. Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pine teaming up. All of those things. And yeah, it seems like out of nowhere, Matt Shakman is doing a new Star Trek film due out in 2023. No word yet if it's a continuation of the 2016. The last time I think we had a Star Trek with the Kelvin universe was 2016 with Star Trek Beyond. But I'm a big 09 Star Trek fan. I'm in Star Trek 2. I'm in Star Trek Into Darkness back when I was an actor boy. So I like those Star Trek movies, man. I'm not big on the shows because it's really dense and there's a lot of stuff to consume. It's a lot of content, and I've never invested. But the movies, 2 hours. I can learn. And they're really approachable movies. So I like the Star Treks. Matt Shakman was a great showrunner for WandaVision. I'm excited, but this seemed to come out of nowhere. I had heard no rumblings whatsoever. I've just heard about the other people trying to make Star Trek happen. So it looks like Star Trek happening. It is coming out in 2023. Out of nowhere. We will see. We also have Gunn wrapping the Peacemaker show. James Gunn has wrapped on Peacemaker, and on the official wrap, we have also learned that he is directing 5 of the 8 episodes, and the other 3 directors doing some sweet, sweet Peacemaker episodes will be Jody Hill, who did Observe and Report, Brad Anderson of Session 9, and Rosemary Rodriguez, who was one of the directors on Jessica Jones. So I am very excited about all of that. I will be doing Peacemaker breakdowns like I've been doing with Loki, Falcon, WandaVision, etc. So you can expect when Peacemaker drops on HBO Max, I will be doing breakdowns of that show as well. Very excited about it. Also, while we've got Sahil in the chat, I will say I have finished Harley Quinn Season 2. It is pure genius. I've talked about it a little here and there, but I will say that I will likely be doing Harley Quinn Season 3 breakdowns as well because it is so freaking good. So I'll be doing breakdowns for any comic book property that is the headliner while it's out. I did not get to watch Sweet Tooth yet, and it's a binge show anyway. It's on Netflix. I didn't get to do that with MODOK because it wasn't as much my speed. So I'm very excited for Harley Quinn Season 3, Peacemaker, etc. A lot of people are like, you just do Marvel shows. I was like, but they've been the premium thing. They've been the big thing coming out. When the rest balances out, I'll be happily covering those shows as well, just so you guys are aware. We also, in speaking of DC goodness and the DCEU, Miss Margot Robbie herself, has come out saying she doesn't know when Harley Quinn will be back. Robbie said, quote, "I don't know when we're next going to see her. I'm just as intrigued as anyone else. It was kind of back-to-back filming Birds of Prey and filming this, as in the Suicide Squad, so I was kind of like, oof, I need a break from Harley because she is exhausting." So not exactly surprising with the speed of those things coming out. Not really surprising with how quickly we had those 2 movies, but it does make sense that the character would be exhausting to play. She's big, she's bubbly, she's a lot of energy, she's a lot of stunts, she's a lot. So with the things it looks like we're getting from the Suicide Squad, we got a lot of Harley Quinn in there, a lot of craziness in there, and it looks like it's the last time we're going to see Harley Quinn, at least for a little bit, not forever, obviously, but it takes time to make movies, and if nothing's on the docket, it is going to be a little break between Harleys. So that is where we stand with Harley Quinn for now. The DCEU is rapidly changing at all times. A lot of things are shifting, a lot of stuff's moving around. We will see how that develops. But in speaking of the DCEU, Black Adam has a new style of camera rig and a new format camera being used on Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself. There is a camera shooting at 960 frames per second, a new version of the Phantom. The most powerful Phantom I've ever worked with was 400 frames per second, and the slow-mo on that was absolutely insane. This is more than double that, 960 frames per second. To put it in perspective, usually a camera shoots at 24 frames per second. 32 frames per second is another common used frame rate. 960. That is so much data, so much information. That means it's shooting so quickly, that'd be like hummingbird wings looking paused. Like, this is speed, slow-mo on slow-mo on slow-mo on slow-mo. I'm assuming it's going to be some crazy muscling rippling. There are some photos he's shown with the white dots to gather data for special effects and stuff, and his suit is pretty much like a wetsuit, like a condom. You can see his vascularity through the suit itself. So Black Adam is a very different superhero suit, very different camera setup. The scale looks insane. Check out his Instagram. There's 3 pictures in a column that all seem very telling for the kind of shots they're going to be getting for these things. I'm very intrigued by it. 960 frames per second. And we got our first look at the suit from the back this week for Black Adam, so I'm really excited about that. Speaking about suits, we got a new Miles Morales suit first look. Miles Morales is somehow a 10-year-old character. Miles Morales has been around for 10 years. It feels like a brand new character, but he's 10-year anniversary, and with that 10-year anniversary, they're giving Miles a new suit, and it's kind of the hoodie. It's cool. It's different colors. It's bright pink, but it kind of reminds you of the hoodie from Into the Spider-Verse, but it's got like a tracksuit flavor, so it gives him a different silhouette, gives him a different look from other Spider-Men. I'm digging it. I'm excited about it. I can't believe it's been 10 years since we got Miles, but I'm very excited about it. Also, in total tangent, this has nothing to do with comic books at all, but A Quiet Place 2, one of my favorite movies of the year, is now available on Paramount Plus. we are now entering that world where there's a 45-day window from theatrical to home video. So this is the first film to make that jump. So 45 days ago, roughly, was Quiet Place 2, and now it is on Paramount Plus. Insane how quick that was in general to flip it around. Now, I do want to talk about What If and Loki Episode 5. So if you guys haven't seen Loki Episode 5, I'm going to give you like a 2-minute warning. I'm going to check on the live chat, but Loki Episode 5 is going to be full spoilers for this conversation, as well as us talking about the impacts of What If. I haven't seen it yet, there was a Simpsons short that was like a Loki tie-in situation. I have not seen it yet on Disney+, but there is a Simpsons thing, and they wanted to have Stan Lee cameo in it, but an interesting thing, they had old voiceover, and Stan Lee has appeared on The Simpsons before, so they were going to have that cameo, but the policy was, quote, "It wasn't even a joke, we just thought, oh, we have Stan Lee audio from when he was on our show, should we cameo him?" And they said that their policy is he doesn't cameo now that he's passed away, which is a completely understandable policy. I kind of love that. I like that, when we lost Dan, there's a reverence, there's a perspective, there's an honor to that. So I like that. So Simpsons kind of confirming that Stan Lee cameos are now going to be like, the images and stuff we get on some of these shows. We saw one in Venom, we saw one in obviously in Loki. So yeah, it's interesting. No more Stan Lee cameos now that we've lost Stan, even if there's footage or voice, etc. So there was going to be a Stan Lee cameo in Loki Simpsons, but that is not going to be the thing. All right, I'm going to check on the chat and then talk about Episode 5 very briefly. If you guys want my full hour-long, full breakdown thoughts, check out my Instagram Live. If you guys want a abridged version of those thoughts, The Late Con with Coy-Jandreau right here on YouTube. You can see all sorts of my thoughts, but abridged and with graphics, and it's more of a polished... Yeah, it's more of a polished show. It's like an edited, put-together show. So The Late Con with Coy-Jandreau is where to find my Loki thoughts and my WandaVision thoughts and my Falcon Winter Soldier thoughts, as well as Instagram. All right, Jody Hill did great stuff on Eastbound. I agree. People talking about Stephen Dorse. Didn't know you were part of Trek. Yeah, I was the Nibberins. I was a few hundred aliens in the second one. 5 or 7 actors, depending on the scene, played the white aliens in Star Trek back in the day. Maybe we'll get a great Star Trek movie for the first time in a long time. Star Trek 09 is just a dumb movie where Nero didn't think to just warn Romulus and Stain. Star Trek Beyond is the best of the 3. I disagree, but I respect your opinion. I enjoyed 09, and I enjoyed Into Darkness because I was in it, so I have as many biases as a man can have, but I respect your opinion. And Harley Quinn was amazing. One of the few shows I watched more than once. It's so good, dude. Jason, I totally agree with you. It is exceptional. Stoked to hear about the Peacemaker show. I am very excited to watch it. Harley Quinn had such a bad first episode where it was so try-hard with the humor and content, and then it became great. I thought the first episode was fine. It wasn't nearly as good as it got. I thought it was like the first episode was like a B, and then it became an A. My experience. My mom is in here. Hello to my mother, and everyone's saying hi to my mom. I'm teaching Koi's little sister how to sew. We're making a Totoro beanbag chair. That's pretty cool. I haven't watched The Simpsons in years, but The Good, The Bad, and The Loki is a lot of fun. I am excited to watch just that bit. There's so much Simpsons, it's inapproachable to catch up. I'm in the same boat. It's been years. So I will be very excited to watch The Good, The Bad, and The Loki when the time comes. Let's talk about Loki, shall we? Oh, also, I went on the Schmodown backstage earlier, and a few people have sent me messages. Also, a few new patrons have joined my Patreon because I let people know over at Schmodown. I broke a tooth, and I am an American, which means I don't have dental, because having dental is only for fancy people, apparently. So I don't have dental insurance. I don't have any insurance, but I definitely don't have dental, because dental is the hardest one to get of the insurances, the Insure-I. So I broke a tooth, and I've got to get a root canal and a crown. So I never, ever like to even bring up my Patreon, because asking for money makes me feel awful. But instead of being like, please, this is one of those rare times I will mention my Patreon. If you have any wiggle, and if it is within your wheelhouse, I'm about to drop a used Honda on my face. In both the feeling I think I'll get and also in the price. I figure a used Honda is about $3,500, like a 1994 Civic. That's going to be the price of my tooth is $3,468. So your boy is a little afraid of that because that's most of my money. So yeah, if you guys have any flex or stretch, a rare time I'll mention the Patreon. I try to be on there twice a week. I've got all sorts of different tiers. I appreciate each and every patron. Thank you all that joined in the day that I mentioned it. And thank you to all the patrons that are already there. I very much appreciate you guys being patrons, and I very much appreciate you guys who watch this show. If you're not patrons, I appreciate you being here and just watching. So thank you to each and every one of you in the Koi Pond. I fucking love the hell out of you. And also StreamYards and Super Chats. Everything's going to be going to the tooth for a while. So I might do like a 24-hour stream or something to raise 3.5K tooth money. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. If you guys have any ideas, tweet them my way. But it's the tooth behind my canine. So like a bicuspid, I fucking broke. So I got to fix that shit, get a root canal and a crown, and I'm not thrilled. Anyway, done plugging the face plug, and let's talk about Loki episode 5. Episode 5 of Loki is the biggest thing I think Marvel's done outside of the Avengers. The episode itself is the most comic-y I think we've seen Marvel do. There is a Thanos copter. There is a Throg moment, or Frog Thor, because Throg and Frog Thor are actually different characters. I'm going to call it Throg until we get Throg, but it might be Frog Thor. That's a longer conversation. Classic Loki. If the Emmys don't recognize Richard E. Grant, they are blind. What he brought to that role and what he brought to the line that we've had since Loki began, Glorious Purpose, is a fantastic line of dialogue, but delivered the way it was so painful and so beautiful. It is, oh my god, this show. Overwhelmed by this episode. We got a lot of answers to what's been going on. We got a lot of questions. Episode 4, we discovered the truth by the Timekeepers. Episode 5 opened up an entirely new can of worms with the Alioth. Alioth, there we go. I pronounced it Alioth in comic books for years, so my brain still goes Alioth. Alioth, this big cloud monster, the first cloud monster that's actually ever worked in comic book lore and TV and film. They tried to make Galactus a cloud, and it sucked. This cloud worked because he's from the comics as a cloud. Anyway, Kid Loki stealing scenes with a single line of dialogue. Alligator Loki being an absolute adorable little... Whenever they did coverage on Alligator Loki, I was enchanted. Classic Loki, one of my favorite characters in the MCU, Richard E. Grant stealing it. Sylvie and Loki, just charming and lovely. The scene with them in the blanket, and neither of them actually feels cold unless it was like really cold because they're frost giants. So like I think there would have to be like negative something for them to even feel it. So that moment was just like closure and compassion and just like love and a moment, and I was so invested. Absolutely insane. The show itself was, the budget of this episode, I can't even imagine. But the reason I tie this into What If, someone mentioned What If earlier, is Kevin Feige said that this season is the biggest thing to impact where Phase 4 goes. So clearly the next episode is something huge. The multiverse is diverged. The multiverse is already just we're about to find out. But is Kang in the next episode? Is it King Loki? Is it Doom? Because it looks like Doomstead. There's a big thing about to happen. But what's interesting is this whole show could have been an episode of What if they didn't want to tie it in. Because this is 2012's Loki. All of this could have been its own little bottle universe. If it's in Quantumania, especially, its own little pocket thing that didn't have to have ramifications. All of this could have been something that was like pruned, for lack of a better term. It could have just been its own isolated thing. So the fact that it's going to be the thing that impacts Phase 4 the most makes me believe What If does have ramifications. Drax looks like his comic book counterpart. Andy Serkis is back. We get our last performance from the late, great Chadwick Boseman. Those things are all going to be important to What If, but I'm curious if any of the strands that take off land in the MCU films, or if any of the actions that occur get referenced in other things. Do we get animated characters in live action? We've got Miss Movies seamlessly tying into Loki because that story allows for it. Will there be anything in Into the Spider-Verse movie? Will there be anything in the animated sequel, or potentially what Spider-Man 3 is? Will we get more and more insane gonzo moments because of how big this Loki got? I cannot wait for tonight/tomorrow morning's episode. I don't know if I'm watching it tonight or tomorrow morning. I can't wait to see what happens with all of this. But at the end of the day, this could have been a What If. And instead, it's that it impacts everything. So I do believe What If is going to be impacting the MCU. I don't think they're throwaway episodes. I think you're going to need to watch them in order to understand where the TV and movies go. As it is now, if you guys haven't seen Black Widow, there's a character at the end of Black Widow that was going to be introduced in Black Widow that is now already in because of Falcon Winter Soldier. But there'll be moments like that that won't make sense to people that haven't watched the shows. And I think What If's going to be just as important as any other show. So I'm very excited about how it all ties together. If you guys haven't watched Black Widow yet, please do. I was going to do a spoiler review on this here episode, but I did a spoiler-free last week, and enough people tweeted me saying they hadn't seen it yet that I wanted to give it a week. I do a spoiler-free episode with Jake on tomorrow's Coy-Cast, so listen to your Coy-Cast to hear me and Jake review our thoughts on Black Widow. And then next week, and on my Patreon pod, if you guys are patrons, on the Patreon pod, we do a spoiler full review that drops today. I'll be dropping that patron episode today. So if you guys are patrons, you can hear the spoiler thoughts. And then next week, I'll be doing a spoiler talk, maybe with a guest. I'm going to try to get guests on the show more next week for Black Widow. But I know it just dropped, and since we started doing the show, a Marvel movie hasn't come out. We started doing the show when Collider Heroes ended, and the world stopped. I started doing the show in January, and we were supposed to get Black Widow in May, and it got pushed a year and a half, or a year. Either way, we haven't had a new MCU movie, so I don't know how long to wait. So it just dropped Friday. I've seen it twice. I'm going to give it more than 4 days. I'm going to wait until next week, and then we're going to do a spoiler-filled review just for folks that haven't seen it. I know a lot of people are tricky with how vaccinated their area is and all that jazz. So we'll be talking about that next week, as well as our big Loki finale. So next week's going to be really fun and MCU heavy with Loki and Black Widow spoiler review. I see the chat saying they enjoyed Black Widow, love Black Widow. I said my mom there talking about Black Widow. All of the above, very, very exciting. So yeah, you lovelies. Let's see if there's anything else I missed. I paid for the first year Disney Plus strictly for old Simpsons episodes. Scott Welsh, you're a gentleman and a scholar. I love that. I wish I kept up with Simpsons, but I love that you got it for that purpose. That is fucking awesome. Michael McCarsell, I'm at work, gotta watch later. Much love, Koi Pond. Hope you're all well. Hope you're well, Michael McCarsell. I'm excited for the stuff I'm cooking up for Fast 5, good sir. I got schemes, I got ideas. I just gotta get some stars to align, but I got some cool stuff cooking. I'd love to see Captain Carter show up in live action. Alex, Seamus, me too, man. That'd be very cool. Jason Ritchie, gentleman, scholar, bon vivant, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. That's what Jason Ritchie is. Jason Ritchie with the super chat. Loki tinfoil hat theory. I'm predicting that Kang isn't involved, and that it will be revealed that Sylvie was behind everything and has master planning abilities that will put John Hannibal Smiths to shame and needed Loki to get to the Void Castle. Okay. 1, that's great. 2, thank you for the super chat. That's going right to my face hole. 3, I somehow didn't even think to not trust a Loki because I'm so in love with both Sylvie and Tom Hiddleston in 2012. That is excellent work. Yeah, that makes total fucking sense. You genius. That could totally happen. It's just as likely to happen as anything else because they've been so good at manipulating us. And Sylvie could be playing a very long game. We would feel betrayed just as Loki would feel betrayed. Loki would learn the lesson not to trust a Loki. That's inspired. I like that. I would love Kang, but I know we're not supposed to get him till Ant-Man. So if we don't get Kang, that's real fun. Jason Ritchie, excellent. So he's saying, yeah, no Kang yet. Sylvie behind everything. I love that. That is fantastic. I appreciate. Damn, I don't know how I didn't think of that. That's just, it was Sylvie all along. It's the sequel to Agatha. Also from Dustin K. Coy, been here since the beginning, mostly silently, but keep up the awesome work. Thank you, Dustin K. My mom saying she's excited to get my dad to the theater soon to see it. Dad does need to see it ASAP. Luckily, it's hard to spoil because the spoilers in Endgame kind of spoil it. So it's a tricky to spoil movie, but there is stuff in it I want people to be surprised by. But Dad doesn't listen to my show, does he, Dad? So he better watch it by next week. But yeah, so that is, I'm still on this Jason Ritchie idea. Good call, sir. Good call. All right, I think that is all the news because we did briefly talk about episode 5. We're going to be talking about episode 6 quite a bit. I am into July, so I'm on Jeff's schedule July. I'm trying to get on a sleep schedule. Talking about curls. I'm still on a looser diet and a looser workout regimen. What I'm trying to do right now is get my eating down to an 8-hour window and get my sleeping to an 8-hour window. So I'm trying to schedule my sleeping and schedule my eating. So far, it's going horribly. There are so many variables because I go out to events, so hard getting on a sleep schedule. I go out to events, so it's hard getting on a food schedule, but I'm really going to try to get an 8-hour sleep and an 8-hour food window, and I think that'll really help me for cutting and my evolution of fitness. So if you guys are on the curls journey, that's where I currently am, trying to go to bed at 10:30 or 11, get up at 6. I'm trying very hard. It's been nearly impossible. My cat wakes me up at 6, and then I'm just tired because I'm usually up till 2 or 3. I've been getting like 4 hours of sleep, and I'm exhausted all the time, and then I nap. I'm really working on getting an 8-hour schedule in, and as far as food, I want to be on like 11 to 7. It's going to be tricky, but that is the goal. Michael McCarcel is an intermittent faster like myself, and it's worked out for him. That is the dream. That's where curls is going to go. As far as schmo business, to wrap out the show, schmo business is Collision is at the end of the month, and I have 3 out of the 4 matches in it, and Collision is going to be absolutely insane. Shazam versus Corruption for the team's belt, Dima Lanza versus Laura Kelly for the Star Wars belt, Smith versus Marisol for the #1 contender to go up against Dan. Lots of goodness coming from the Mercs, and it looks like we are officially going to get Jesse Swift versus Jacob Whitneben for the Inner Geekdom. So we've got lots of schmo goodness coming at you, and that's before the even singles tournament starts. That being said, none of it's been announced yet, but I would keep your eyes peeled on who is going to be playing at the Scum and Villainy Cantina. If you were in LA and we've never met and you want to come to a schmo event, whether I'm in the matches or not, I will be at Scum and Villainy on the 1st and the 14th for the Schmodown matches. So there are 40 tickets per night. I think they're going to sell out in like no time at all. If you're a fan of mine, if you want to come, I will be there. Keep an eye out on Schmodown Live on the 1st, 14th at Scum and Villainy. Your boy's going to be there. Be vaxxed up, be safe, be ready, be excited. Most of all, be excited. So stoked. 1st, 14th of August. Live events are back. All right, let's see. I think that is all of the stuff to talk about today. Let me check the chat before I bounce on out of here. We did it in a nice 36-minute show. Yes, I was hoping to be under 45, and that before my phone overheated, and I think we've done it. I'm going to wrap out of here soon. Efron Guzman, great name. Coyle, will there ever be a reunion with Amy and Movie Talk folks? Amy is doing tons of D&D stuff. Amy doesn't really do the commentary game anymore. She's on Twitch. She does a lot of Dungeons & Dragons stuff. I haven't seen Amy in years. Her and I did a panel together during COVID, so I guess I digitally saw her we talked with Al Ewing, and it was incredible, and I loved it, but I haven't seen Amy in person since Christmas of 2019. I haven't seen Amy since Star Wars. Amy and I saw Star Wars 3 or 9 together. That's the last time I saw Amy, so it's been quite some time. We don't have a lot of the same stuff going on because she's in the D&D community, I'm in the comic book community. They do cross over, but she doesn't really do this stuff anymore. So if she wants to, she is always welcome. If the opportunity ever presented itself, I would love to team up with Amy again. But as it stands now, it has been a situation of her being in the Dungeons & Dragons world while I'm in the comic book world. Not that she's not in comics anymore, but that's just where she's focused up. I see something coming from Scott Welsh. Hasn't popped up on my end yet. Let me go over and check on the Streamlab because that is how this works. Please hold before I wrap the show. Also, if you guys want my comic recommendations for the next couple weeks, I'll be dropping all of those on Coycast tomorrow. I am finally caught up on my comic book reading. Anyone that's a patron, I will be adding what last week's favorite comics were to the thing today. So today you can expect the Coycast podcast drop. You can expect comic stuff to drop as soon as I'm wrapped up on this show right here. I'll be jumping on my Patreon work, so expect lots of stuff coming over there. But first, Scott Welsh sent the following, which is going right to my tooth, which I appreciate very much. Scott said, drum roll for it loading. For the dental fund. Thank you very much appreciated. Anyone, the Streamlabs are all going straight to my mouth, so thank you very, very much, anyone that sent anything. Jason Ritchie, Scott Welsh, thank you guys both kindly. I'm going to try to think of a stream, maybe get some guests, maybe do a comic books and craft beer with Jenny. I'll do something for my teeth, because that's gonna suck to pay off, and I don't really have another option because your mouth is a lot of your health, and I could also get blood poisoning and fucking die, and then I have even less money because I'm dead. So I'm gonna deal with that. Thank you very much, Scott Welsh. Thank you very much, everyone watching this. If you haven't watched the Deadpool thing, my boy's in the MCU. My boy. My gentle baby boy. He's in the MCU. I'm so excited. Guys, the show has been fun. I love you all very much. Thank you, Koi Pond. I'm going to wrap it up before my shit overheats. I appreciate the hell out of you. If you're a patron, I got a lot of stuff dropping today over on Patreon. If you're not a patron and would like to be, check out Patreon. Coy-Jandreau, just type in my name. And if you don't want to be a Patreon, I still love you very much. And I appreciate you watching my show for 40 minutes. You guys are the best. I will see you tomorrow on Coycast. I will see you tomorrow on Loki at 10 a.m. I will see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock for Rotten Tomatoes. And I will see you later this week for Schmodown stuff. I'm going to be all over your internet very, very soon. Let's see. Talk to Goddard about hot tub streams on Twitch to make the big money. Scott, you genius. I will talk to Ben. He does make that money. You're right. You're right. I will talk to Ben. I like it. I haven't done that yet. I'm always embarrassed to ask for money because I always feel like a pauper. But I need to because I broke my fucking face. All right, you lovelies. I'll talk to you guys very soon. I appreciate you all very much. Bye, guys.